Hi there, and welcome to the third edition of the R&D News on the 16th of March. I'm Max, the Chief Customer Officer at Empowered. It's been an extremely busy month in the world of R&D tax relief, but the spring budget, which was delivered yesterday, does dominate the news today. So from the budget yesterday, there are really two key takeaways that will materially affect the scheme moving forward. Takeaway number one is about the further rate changes in the SME scheme, beyond those previously announced in the autumn statement later last year. And takeaway number two is around the inclusion, or actually the exclusion of overseas R&D expenditures in R&D claims moving forward. So let's focus on takeaway number one. So while the rate changes that were previously announced in the SME and RDEC schemes will still go ahead from the 1st of April 2023, the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, did announce that from the 1st of April 2023, there will be a higher rate of relief for loss-making R&D intensive SMEs moving forward. You're probably thinking, what is a loss-making R&D intensive SME? Well, it seems by definition, it's an SME where at least 40% of their total expenditure is identified as qualifying R&D expenditure. So these companies will receive a tax credit rate of 14.5%, which is in fact the current rate, compared to the so-called non-intensive R&D SMEs, who will get a lower 10%. So what does this mean in actual terms? So when you skip through the calculation of the enhancements, etc., well, a loss-making R&D intensive SME will receive a cash credit of up to £27 for every £100 spent on R&D, instead of the reduced rate of up to £18.60 available for a non-R&D intensive loss-making SME. So quite a big change there, positively for those intensive R&D SMEs. Takeaway number two, so this is around the overseas expenditures. So it's been previously announced that there will be a restriction on some overseas R&D expenditures for claim periods starting after the 1st of April 2023. This change will still go ahead. However, it's been pushed back by a further year. So it will come into effect from the 1st of April 2024. Empowered did, in fact, call for a delay in the restriction of the overseas R&D expenditure by at least a year as part of our submission to the House of Lords towards the end of last year. So we're happy to see the government take action on this. So while the overseas R&D expenditure has been delayed for another year, some of the previously announced changes, such as the inclusion of cloud hosting and data costs, will still go ahead for claim periods starting after the 1st of April 2023. Even in the short amount of time I've been speaking, there's lots of change here. So if you are struggling to keep up with this, please do join a webinar that myself and my colleague John Yeomans, who's head of tax, will be running on the 23rd of March, so in a week's time at 10 AM, where we'll go through these changes in a lot more detail and how they could impact your company more specifically. There'll also be an interactive Q&A at the end as well. So if you'd like to join that, please do sign up via the website, empowered.com, or in the link in the description below. That's all for now, but I will see you next time for more R&D news.